What's going on, y'all? Just want to let y'all know we are okay. Are we close to the flooding? Absolutely. This weekend has been crazy, and in fact, it's not even over. It's sunny here now in the San Antonio area, but the storm or the low pressure system that has brought all this flooding is still here. It's moved up north towards actually the Fort Worth side of DFW. I felt I should make this video and get it out because I've actually had a number of people reaching out to us, making sure that we are okay. Because a lot of people know we're in San Antonio so that we could help care for Tanya's father. Yes, there's been a lot of flooding here. What happened the weekend of 4th of July did not affect San Antonio as much as it did the surrounding areas and very close areas. We did encounter flooding here, I think about 3 weeks ago. It was 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was real bad, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute. So let's just cover real quick what has happened in case you have been out enjoying your 4th of July weekend and have missed some of this. We've had a low pressure system came and basically just sat over this area, the Texas Hill Country, San Antonio, Austin. And from there, it just kind of dropped rain again and again and again. It was hard for some people to process and understand as there was more flooding July 5th when a lot of people were thinking about just July 4th. Really, the worst of it was early in the morning, July 4th. The storm dropped about 11 inches of rain within a short amount of time just west of Kerrville, Texas, which caused the Guadalupe River to rise up 30 feet high and rage through a number of group camps, RV parks, campgrounds, Airbnbs, and just people's general residence. There's been search and rescue of all kind in the area. There's already been over 40 that have been declared deceased, and there's still possibly hundreds missing as they've just not been discovered yet. It's exceptionally scary is the fact that it was 4th of July and there was a lot of people out there to enjoy the 3-day weekend with their RVs or their tents or just, like I said, getting an Airbnb. So it's been hard for the officials to even determine how many people they're looking for because there was extra people in the area. It's a scary thing all around. I'm sure you've seen news footage of it. It's pretty well covered across the nation. This isn't something that's just local to Texas now. Everybody is involved. In fact, it's probably known globally now at this point. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to find some charities that I trust and believe in. If you do wanna send your support, and I'll put those in the description down below, where you could potentially send some monetary relief to help. There's a number of organizations that are already headed out there. Of course, as usual, they're asking people not to come. If they've got EMS and National Guard, everybody, the cities all around the area have all sent in helicopters and fire trucks and search and rescue vehicles. So they've got a lot of boots on the ground already, but they need help in regards to supplying food and water to those affected. There's churches and community centers that have opened up their doors for the people that now have nowhere to stay because the homes have been washed away. The search and rescue crews obviously need support as well. And then of course there's going to be a rebuilding process. They're going to come to terms with, what needs to be done next. Bridges need rebuilding and roads cleared, and people need homes rebuilt. There was entire homes just washed away. There was people that lived full-time in their RVs. Their RVs washed away. There's a lot of stories I heard. I'll give you one that's not quite so in despair. A gentleman and his dog living in their RV were able to get out. It happened so rapidly, he didn't even have time to grab his shoes. Just in his clothes, grabbed his dog and ran out barefoot. And his RV and truck were washed away. The shoes he had, someone donated to him later in the day. That one's a little bit more hopeful. There's a lot of very sad stories that I don't think I have the heart to share here right now. Just know that there's people out there that need help. So yes, we were in more danger ourselves about 3 weeks ago. There was another deadly flood that did happen in San Antonio and Schertz, Universal City area, the northeast part of San Antonio where we're at. Kaylin and I were up at 3 in the morning. We were watching the water. There's been a big cleanup effort here already, but you can kind of see the gravel. Some of these spots got so bad that water was coming through. Everything is uphill. We've got mobile homes and RV parks here. Everything is uphill this way. And back behind these, you can see the chain link fence through there. That's a flood washout area for San Antonio. So everything was coming through here, through these sites and over to there, which then was a river, which all started about 3 in the morning. Like I said, about 3 weeks ago. And you can just kind of see the gravel everywhere. Some of them were worse. We have some pretty good sized ruts. There was some down that way where they actually had the people leave. The flood coming through just kind of made a chasm or canyon right in their site. And they had to go through there with some equipment and actually re-level the sites out. Ours has a little bit of washout. There's some ruts underneath my truck. You can kind of see some that was washed out there. Some right there behind the tire. That wasn't quite such a dip right there. And you can see here where mud from across the way had all just piled up and has since washed away with more recent rain, but that was just a big pile of mud there for a while. Yeah, there's some ruts kind of down under the truck. We've had times where I was backed up further and we were walking around and I've almost tripped and fallen because I stepped into that rut. So, and it was bad. That flood as well. I think there was 12 or 13 people that passed away that morning when that happened. Because with flash flooding down here in Texas, we've got so many of these like small canyons. And so you get a massive amount of rain all at once and this water will just come rushing through. And a lot of times people are very used to seeing barricades up and they always talk about don't go around the barricades, stay safe. If you go around the barricades and have to be rescued, you pay a $500 fee to be rescued. But that's because the barricade was already up. Well, what happens is, sorry for all the cicada noise. What happens is that the flash floods happen so quickly, you get a wall of 30-foot deep water, sweeps you right off the road. And that took the life of people that were just driving, I believe it was Austin Highway. There's a huge drainage area right there. I really hope that they rethink their engineering there and possibly redo how that flood zone is right there, because that was pretty devastating. But our entire area here, everything, the whole site was a river at 3 in the morning. And Kayla and I were just watching it. And now we kind of know, since they're more downhill, this entire row over here will flood first. So that was one of the things yesterday, because we were under flash flood warning yesterday with all the flooding that was going on. We did have a spike of thunderstorms that came through and hit that did affect New Braunfels and Seguin yesterday, which in fact, Seguin, my goodness, I think their HEB got flooded. I've never seen that much rain in Seguin. We used to live there. But we did have some come here, and so we had the windows open just right so we could watch over here. And we're like, if we start seeing it flooding here, we make a run for it. And the girls made bug out bags. They did not want to get caught off guard. I was walking around the RV without my wallet in my pocket. I'm like, you know what? Let's change that. Let's have my wallet in my pocket the rest of this day. So, you know, hopefully we could get in the truck and go. But if not, I said, if the water's rising too fast, we can run up these streets. That's an uphill right there. Chances are, if it starts flooding down here, it's not going to flood so bad that up that road doesn't get washed away. So that was our battle plan yesterday. We were that scared. We were that concerned because it affected so many people. So Canyon Lake, which is a place that we love, near and dear to our hearts, was only 46% full with a great big dam that's built to receive the floodwaters, to stop the floods from hitting New Braunfels and Seguin, Texas. And because it wasn't full, it was able to do its job, which is an interesting thing that had me thinking. Everybody's freaking out about, oh, it's been so dry and Canyon Lake is so low. And I'm like, well, you know, if it had been full, then it wouldn't have been able to do anything about catching all this rain yesterday. So does it need to be full all the time? Just one of those things to really make you think. And it did its job. It rose from 46% full to 60% full. It didn't need to pass any water along. But the reason why New Braunfels and Seguin flooded still was because of actual more flooding, more rain that came down on July 5th. There's been flooding up in Burnett, Texas, flooding over in San Angelo, Texas. And it looks like right now this storm is causing flooding up in Cleburne, Texas, up there northwest of Waco. So yeah, it's pretty drastic. But I just wanted to make this video real quick. I know I maybe have rambled on a little bit past real quick, haven't I? Just making sure that everybody knows that we are okay, but there are a lot of families that need your prayers. And if you can afford to help and support any of these efforts in any way, please take a look at the links that I find that I put down here in the description. And if God puts it on your heart to help others, please go ahead and follow those links and send some money to help out. I'll try my best to vet the links that I find for you. I have trust issues when it comes to some of these organizations, so I'll try to get something good for you that can truly help if you do decide to donate. I'm going to leave it at that. Our thoughts are with those that have been hurt. Like I said, it's hard to talk about the families that have lost their kids, entire families washed away. Yeah. Stay fresh.